Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Alex Thomas here, back with another video for you guys. Today, I'll give you guys my review and my thoughts on Mission Impossible 4 Ghost Protocol, as I'm gonna call it, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, directed by Brad Bird this time. Directed by Brad Bird, starring Tom Cruise. We got Jeremy Renner, Paula Patton, Simon Pegg is more as a bigger role in this movie than he had in the last movie. And basically this movie is about Tom Cruise, Ethan Hunt's character. Somehow the MIF had to break him out of jail in order to bring him back to do this mission to retrieve something that this Russian terrorist is trying to get for nuclear launch codes and all this different stuff that's going on in this movie. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and my review on this movie. I don't know if I've talked about this in the other reviews, but I will be going into certain spoilers and stuff when it comes to these reviews. You guys have not seen the Mission Impossible movies, you guys have been warned. But if you guys are new to my channel, please hit that like button, please subscribe for more, and let's get into this review, you guys. Let's get it. Let's go. Like I said, this is Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, directed by Brad Bird. This movie also came out 2011. And I remember when this movie first came out, man, the trailer came out. It had Eminem Won't Back Down playing in the background. And oh my God, I remember being so hyped when this movie was coming out, because by this time, the last Mission Impossible movie came out in 2006. This one's now coming out 2011. So it was a decent amount of time jump, because I think each one, besides I think from 1 to 2, I think there was on like a certain amount of year time jump. This was like, I think, the biggest time span since the last Mission Impossible movie. And in most people's eyes, this is the Mission Impossible movie that kind of revitalized the franchise. That kind of really, like, most people said this is the best one of the movies that came out. And I can agree with that. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol really blew me away when I went to see it in the theater. Now, also, when you got someone like Brad Bird directing it, now he hasn't done, I think that if I'm not mistaken, this is his first live action movie he's directed, because he did The Incredibles and of course he did The Iron Giant. So for him to step into this world and create this, this new look on Mission Impossible, it was a nice little treat for us as Mission Impossible fans. I think he did a great job with the direction. The movie looks gorgeous, especially on 4K. The movie looks spectacular. The way he do certain shots and certain frames look great. Of course, the IMAX sequences with the Dubai scene is fantastic. And yeah, I got to give Brad Bird credit for this to be his first live action directed film. He did a pretty good job. Let's go ahead and get into the performances. Like I said, Tom Cruise is great as he always is. Of course, he's always on the front lines doing his own stunts. And oh my God, that Dubai scene, bro, when he's on that building, is freaking heart-wrenching. It is like tense. There's certain points where he's climbing up the building and the freaking gloves start malfunctioning, so he only has one glove. And then he's trying to cut the hole and he falls off the building. Like, oh my God, it's so tense, so crazy. And then when he gets into the freaking window, the glove, he has no glove. So how's he get back to the room? And of course, like Ethan Hunt fashion, he figured out a way to get into the room. But this whole sequence, this whole Dubai sequence is awesome. But yeah, I think Tom Cruise did a great job. I think all the other supporting cast did a really good job, especially Jeremy Renner. I think Jeremy Renner was really good in this movie. When he comes off the scene, he comes off as just like a normal, calm guy. But he has some secrets and some, he has hidden that plays out throughout the movie, which I love the way Jeremy Renner portrayed this character, because he comes off as an analyst, but there's certain things that he does with certain skills he have with guns and fighting styles. Like, how are you just an analyst? That makes no type of sense. And of course, he has like a past that we will talk about. Well, he reveals in the movie. But I think everyone did a great job. Simon Pegg was great as the comic relief in the movie, and I think Paula Patton, and she looks great in this movie. Like, oh my God, she looks fantastic. I thought she was okay. She's probably the weak link out of the 4 main cast, but I think she did a pretty good job as well. Like I said, let's go ahead and talk about the certain sequence. Like I did talk about the Dubai scene, but another criticism I hear a lot with this movie is that they kind of bust. I don't want to say this to be inappropriate. They kind of bust the load too early. Because when you got the movie, we got the prison breakout sequence, and then they go to Moscow and go into the Kremlin, and they destroy the Kremlin. Then they, after all that happens, they go to Dubai. And while they're in Dubai, of course, they're doing the whole setup where they got to meet, the terrorists, and, they got to swap rooms and all this stuff. Then after all this happens, after he climbs the building, of course, like I said, that sequence is awesome. And it's kind of crazy that's like, we're in like still like the kind of we're in the middle first half of the movie. And then after all that happens, they get an altercation, a little scuffle and stuff. They kick the one girl off the building, like 100 stories in the sky. It's crazy. But after that, they're doing a chase sequence in a sandstorm. Like, as everything's going on, a sandstorm is like coming straight towards them. And oh my god, this whole sequence is crazy too, because you really can't see anything. So Ethan Hunt is using like this phone to track where the guy is, and it's a pretty spectacular action sequence, which sets up the other movies, because each since this one, Mission Impossible 5 and 6 has like these really long action sequences that just keep going. And this movie definitely has that, but then once this sequence ends, it kind of stalls a little bit. You get a lot of dialogue with characters. Of course, you get some reveals. And then Ethan Hunt kind of like splits from the group. And then, then we pick up again where they got to meet up at this party, and they got to, find out something else about something. And then we get to, the final sequence where they, doing a little chase sequence in like the car vending machine thing. But I know a lot of people talk about that. Like, this movie has kind of a dull ending, and even like the villain. Let's go ahead and talk about the villain. I think the villain isn't that intriguing either. Like, he doesn't really bring that much to the screen at all. He's definitely one of the weaker villains of the Mission Impossible franchise. Obviously, he doesn't get that much screen time, and we don't get to spend that much time with him. He's more kept in the background. This movie more focuses on the team and the mission, which is cool, because I like all that stuff as well. That's where the movie really shines. The movie does really shine with the team doing what they're doing, Ethan Hunt being Ethan Hunt, and interacting with all his team. That's when the movie really shines, and I really do enjoy that aspect of the movie. Like I said, the movie looks great. I think the musical score is still great. Like I said, you would have it stuck in your head when you start watching the movie. You would have the Mission Impossible theme stuck in your head while you're watching it. But overall, I think Brad Bird did a great job with the direction. J.J. Abrams also stayed on as a producer, and he will stay on as a producer within these next couple movies. That's why I feel like a lot of people don't give Mission Impossible 3 credit, because J.J. Abrams stayed on as a producer for the rest of the franchise. So he still has his enthusiasm or his influence from Mission Impossible 3 moving on with these movies. So, I think this movie, it was a right step in the right direction, because after this one, the next two, and I'm hoping with Dead Reckoning, so far they've been better and better and better, and I'm so happy that this one wasn't terrible, like, for sure. Because and a lot of people criticize Mission Impossible 3. I really like Mission Impossible 3, but this one definitely is better than Mission Impossible 3 for sure. I think the acting, the characters, even some of I think the action sequences in 3 were more over the top, but this one felt, more like, in the same level of what it should be. But overall, like I said, I think Brad Bird did a great job with the direction. I think Tom Cruise nailed it. Of course, he does most of all his stunts, and he's fantastic as Ethan Hunt. I think all the side characters, Simon Pegg, Jeremy Renner, and Paula Patton, they were good. I think the villain was definitely mediocre, definitely the weakest point of the movie. And like I said, not that I agree that the movie kind of busts his low early on with these incredible sequences in the beginning, and then it kind of stalls going into the third half. But I can see where people would have that criticism. Because I remember when I was watching the theater, and when all that stuff happens, you sit there and it's like, I guess at that time they're letting you take a breath because of everything we just seen. And, I think the dialogue between the characters are interesting, but it's like, man, like, we just spent all this time doing all this crazy stuff. Now we're just like, okay, what's next? But yeah, that's just my thoughts on Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. If you guys have seen the movie, let me know what you guys thought about it in the comment section below. Are you guys excited for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning coming out in July? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like button, please subscribe for more. And I'm honest with you guys. Peace out.